just sat here in my little studio with wet hair, fresh out of the shower. I'm just about to have a final run through some songs that I'm going to be playing tonight with a band called Full Tilt UK. It's a dep gig. I've never met these guys. I got the gig via a recommendation from Paddy Maguire, whose band I play regularly. The guys needed a stand-in, and so they've got me. Now, in this day and age, it's very difficult for a professional musician to fill a diary. At times they're quite tough, and so I get a lot of people asking me, how do I get so many dep gigs? And so I thought I'd make a little quick video today just about how that sort of thing works and how to go about approaching them. But for now, I need to have a run through this song because I've not played this one for about 12 years, so best have a refresher. Just about to set off for my gig, just loaded up my car, just gave me another little thought. The gear that you take on these gigs, now whatever gig you're doing, the equipment that you take with you, the quality of it, whether it's well maintained or not, is obviously very, very important anyway, but particularly on these kind of gigs, take gear that is well looked after, decent quality stuff that's not going to let you down. Of course, there's always that opportunity, there's always that possibility that something might let you down. There's never a 100% guarantee that it won't, but take a toolbox, take spares. Anything that can let you down, make sure you've got it covered. A very important piece of equipment that a lot of musicians tend to neglect is your vehicle. Check your levels before you set off, make sure it's as well maintained as possible. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good a player you are if you're not going to get there. So, how does one go about getting dep gigs? Well, for me, the music industry is an industry that's very much based on recommendation. I've joined forums and websites for dep musicians where you can kind of have a profile, let people know what you can do. You're part of a database, and hopefully people will contact you if they need someone. But I've never found that's worked for me. What I would suggest is use your contacts in the industry, bands that you have worked for. Let people know that you would be interested in doing dep gigs. Getting into doing this can take time, but once you do get a dep gig, if you make a real good job of it, you will get recommended. The way that I approach depping is when someone contacts me and asks me if I would be available to stand in for their band, I like to have a good conversation with them, get to know the person a bit over the phone, and most importantly, get a set list and a list of keys that those songs are played in. If the band has recordings, hopefully they'll be online and you can get to them real quick. If they're on YouTube in particular, then you can study the live arrangements and endings, things like that. Standing gigs will fall into two categories. One is when you have plenty of notice, in that case you can spend plenty of time going over the material, and I would suggest just learning the material as well as possible. Put as much time as you possibly can into it. You need to do an excellent job to secure the next recommendation. Don't ask for huge amounts of money. A lot of musicians that I know that do stand-ins or are prepared to do stand-ins don't really want to do it unless it's for a lot of money. They feel that because they're standing in, they're rescuing the band, enabling a band to go out and gig, then they should be entitled to earn a lot of money. And while I understand that, what I do is, I do it even if the money is not great, as is tonight, actually not fabulous, but what will happen is, if you go and do a great job, where there's a musician who's let a band down once, the chances are that it's going to happen again. So there's very probably going to be repeat work. Now, once you've done your first gig, you've already done your homework. You've already got to know the band, and so there's a band that, you know, maybe quite frequently, maybe now and again, is going to give you more work. fill up your diary. Now when it's a situation where it's a last minute emergency and you maybe don't have very much time or no time at all to learn the material, the most important thing is not to panic. Don't get yourself stressed about it. The band know that you're not going to know exactly what you're playing. They know that you're filling in and you're just going to go and do your best. Just keep yourself nice and calm and just rely on what you know about music and song arrangements and just do your very, very best. I've done a number of gigs where I had absolutely no idea what song was coming next or what key it was in, and I'm relying on cues and help from other musicians on stage. And you know, I've come out of it the other end okay, and learnt a certain amount of the material already and got repeat work from it. The thing is, if you know a certain amount about the theory, it's quite easy to get through most song structures. The way I teach my students, I try to teach them the kind of theory that you need to kind of get your teeth into a song, get your teeth into the arrangement, get your head round what may well be coming next. There are some songs where, you know, they might be key riffs and changes and things that you're just not going to know. And if it's material that, you know, you're not familiar with, you know, there's going to be sketchy areas. But you know, that band, if you weren't there, they wouldn't be working, there wouldn't be any money. So don't worry about it. You just do your best. When I was younger, a lot of my heroes were outrageous bands, bands that had notorious lifestyles and behaviour. And I kind of thought that everybody in the music industry was like that. But you know, it isn't really like that. People who get repeat work, people who are taken seriously in this business and are able to sustain a living and keep at it, are people that turn up on time, people who turn up a bit early, people who help people carry their gear, carry your own gear. Before you start setting up, if somebody's still carrying stuff in, go help them. Be a nice guy. Being nice is more important than anything. One of the most famous people that I work for, somebody whose music I absolutely love and adore, and he's a real big star to me. He says that the main reason that anyone gets into his band is because they're nice, fun to work with, easygoing. Rockstar attitudes, egos, leave them at home. As a musician, the most important piece of equipment that you can possibly have is a mobile phone. Have a good phone, keep it charged up, make sure that it's always with you. If you don't, you will lose work. You wouldn't believe how many great musicians I've been calling to try to get to cover a gig, and I've just not been able to give that person work because I can't reach them. And it always comes out some daft reason like, oh, you know, my phone ran out of battery, or, you know, I forgot my phone. Well, someone else got that gig. Doing a standing gig can make you a little nervy. The best way I find around this is give yourself plenty of time wherever possible. You know, set off early, plenty of idiot time, a decent set of directions, sat-nav programmed. Just know that you're going to get there, because the last thing that you need is the added stress of not being able to find the place, or getting lost. Getting lost sucks. These days there's not a lot of money about in the music industry. Times really are quite tough, and it means that a lot of musicians either have a day job or they're in a number of bands to help fill up the diary and just make enough money to survive. This means that there are a lot of musicians, I've noticed particularly recently, who just can't make every gig that their band needs them to do. And so I've found that there are a lot of opportunities recently for people like me who are prepared to do that stand-in work. I really highly recommend to anyone who's serious about making a living in the music business to do dep work. Try and get into it. It will make you a better player. It really keeps you on your toes. It will help fill up your diary, and if you make a real good job of it, then you'll get repeat work, and it will help fill your wallet, or at least, you know, keep the wolves away from the door, hopefully. Almost home in sunny Sheffield now. Driving home in the middle of the night, all alone, almost 3 AM, starving. Not the life for everyone, I know, but I do love it. Met some new friends tonight. Full Tilt are a great set of lads, talented musicians, nice, tight, hard-hitting rock band. I think I did a good job. I think I'd done sufficient homework. There's a few places in the songs where I wasn't exactly sure what was happening next, because obviously I don't know the arrangements of the songs that these guys do, but I managed to bust my way through it without too many special magic jazz notes or anything. Pretty sure the guys would call me again if they needed me again, and more importantly, I think they would recommend me if they were talking to any bands, any musician friends of theirs that found themselves in a similar without a bass player at the 11th hour kind of a situation. But it was just a little pub gig. Nice audience, got paid okay, enjoyed myself. So I hope this video has been of some use. It's not supposed to be a defining lecture on exactly how to go about being the world's greatest ever dep musician. Just a collection of my thoughts while I'm out on the road, just doing what I do. Take care, be nice to each other,